Yeah. Uh, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please, me up from. Bye, Jerry. Okay, I told you it wasn't necessary, but thank you for calling. You're not driving, are you?
No, not right now. Hi, Jerry. If I'm driving, my wife will hold the phone or I'll throw the people on the car.
Okay.
Got it.
I would just like to remind everybody in the room, we are recording this meeting. Anybody recording other than what we're recording, you need to announce it, that the meeting is being, that you are recording. I've been a little neglectful in the past. We're going to do roll call. David Boaz,
Yes.
Patricia Caputo, Dominic Garnagia,
Here.
Kelly Jensen,
Here.
Stuart Richland,
Here.
Joanne Robinson, here, Jerry Satowski,
I'm on the phone.
and you're here, and Donald is here. Okay, so we have a quorum, and we have 3 guests in the room, Richard Handelsman, Ruth Dries, and Maureen Debeguer.
Here.
So we have a quorum, please review the minutes as we have here. We have minutes, I believe so. Aren't those minutes? Oh, memorandum? Oh, okay, okay, all right, so we have no minutes,
I could read them if you want.
no, if they're not in writing, we're not going to,
Oh, Carolyn, yeah, unfortunately.
I sent them to Carolyn and
Yeah.
Donald.
Carolyn is out, so, okay. I'm going to forego my report for the moment, so we'll go down the list with our treasurer's report.
My only report is for those of you that were there yesterday, thank you. We had a brief but nice, productive town hall meeting yesterday. I just 5 minutes ago posted it to the blog if anybody wants to go and listen to it. I had no camera operator, so you can't really see the numbers per se, but if you want a copy of what was handed out at the meeting, I have plenty of extras at my office, so. It was very productive, a lot of discussion, and we're gonna forge ahead next week at the finance committee will be our first blush at 2025 budget. But that's all for me.
Okay. Managers report, I guess that's Donald.
Oh, okay. Actually, I do.
I'm sorry?
Sure, someone out front.
Lock the door. That sounds like something.
There's ours.
So somebody
Just
take
take
a
a
look. I will go.
Make sure.
Don't lock it. Check it.
It might have been Carol.
No, it was Carol.
It must have been Carol leaving.
Lock the door.
The door's locked.
Okay, thank you.
Alright,
Okay, managers report, nothing really to report other than what's in my reports. We have some old business, I'm gonna expound upon when we get there, new business actually. But other than that, you guys got any work for me here?
No.
Like, we're moving on.
okay. David Boaz,
Nothing earth shaking. I'm gonna do another follow-up letter next week. I'm gonna change it a little bit. I'll talk
Yes.
to you about that.
yes,
I will go forward with that and other than that, that's nothing exciting.
Patricia,
Hi, everyone. I have nothing new to report, however, I was reading about the webinar for August 27th. And I would like to have it put on Zoom so we can watch it here, and I was wondering if the officers, that's with the insurance. With the rates and everything, so if you guys are willing, I would like to do that.
sounds like a plan.
Okay. Alright, so it's official, gentlemen. That's August 27, at what time is it on?
I think it's 10 a.m.
Oh, 10 a.m., right.
Days out. It's Tuesday.
The Tuesday, yeah.
It's Tuesday.
We have,
Yeah.
we have operations, you know, at what, 12.
Well.
Yeah, but this is at 10.
Oh, 10
Oh,
o'clock.
No,
no,
we
yeah,
said 12.
ten.
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's at 12.
Yeah, but the webinar is at 10.
Right.
So
And then
that-
we-
that's
Alright.
my only suggestion. I think it'd be beneficial for us to do
Yep,
increase, et cetera. And that's about it.
Dominic,
Nothing to report. We're still, doing barcodes. They haven't, gone soft on those things. We've got plenty of them, to go. That's about it.
okay, thank you,
How many fixed barcodes?
we're okay,
These are just-
we're good.
What's that quacking noise?
It's Jerry.
It's Jerry, you're up, you have anything that you would like to say?
It's quiet.
Okay, I'm sure that Fausto will expound on this a little bit more, but Fausto and I had a phone call this morning with Rabbi Vance. Who were trying to get Bobby Powell involved with this North Canal issue. We forwarded him an email that we got regarding the canal being now easements, and he said he would get on it, and that's basically all that I have to say.
Okay,
We'll see.
all right, we shall see. Thank you.
Alright,
There's some surprises out there.
yes,
Yeah.
lots of surprises.
Okay.
Stuart, you're up.
Received a notice, so this deals with the 204 in my building. That there's going to be something with the lawyer on the 17th, I think, or the 12th, 17th of next month. And Donald was informed he'll be there, and we'll see what happens. But I am going to, in my VP column, I'm going to address it, the concept, not my specific building, but the problem. Similar to what Donald was doing, but from a vice president's point of view. And that's about it.
Alright. Miss Ruth, you're up.
Well, I sent my files to the paper, to the printer yesterday. If any luck, we'll have proofs on Monday and we'll have a paper next weekend.
Alright. Should we expand on what we? Should we say that?
You finished with officers' reports?
Yes,
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 yes.
but Kelly,
Oh, I'm sorry,
Nothing new to report.
giving you a prompt.
I was sorry,
Going like this.
okay.
because my mind is in another place.
You too.
Alright,
I wanna go right to new business and.
yeah,
I don't think we have any more business.
well, what we did, to expand on what Jerry, last week, the early part of the week. We received a phone call that the rabbi wanted to talk to us on the situation on the North Canal. Today, Jerry and I spent about 15 minutes with him explaining the current situation that was brought to light. I placed a phone call to Bobby Powell. I did place another call to Brian Mast. That this requires them coming in here, sitting down with the officers, so we can discuss the current state of, things have changed drastically now.
Right,
The passing of the ball has to stop and somebody's gotta help us out. There's just no two ways about it.
that's good.
Okay,
New business?
yeah, any old business,
Where's this part of the canal?
North Canal.
Yeah.
North Canal.
Near your house.
Near your house.
That's what I'm asking.
Is the north,
Yeah, okay, is there any old business? Old business, new business. Donald, I guess that's you.
So actually, I'm gonna pass North Canal over to Joanne if that's okay, because the
Sure.
finance committee is spearheading that.
Yep, okay, no problem.
Okay, attached is a copy of. The letter that Ron Hennessy got. He responded to us because of the fact I've put in a request to purchase the tax lien certificates on the 6 parcels of land. That would kick off us, at least the process of bidding to buy those parcels. And then continue, you know, so that we could own that canal and maintain it. We went back and forth a bit, and bottom line, my last correspondence was the other day. Palm Beach County has now said that we will not be able to purchase those tax certificates because they are part of an easement. So I immediately sent the easement response to Rod and asked him. Our initial reaction was, should we get Henry Handler involved, because he had a similar situation with the South Canal. And Rod's response is here, he does not advise that we go to Henry, lays out what he feels is our next possible approach, which would be to basically declare it a nuisance and sue. So I think that's how I see it.
Tell who he wants to sue.
Yeah, but they were.
Well, he wants to sue the county.
What about the
Oh,
number?
well,
Defunct
I'm
entity?
sorry, Century, he wants to sue.
Century Utilities.
Century Utilities and the county. I mean, it's basically. Because the county, it's a defunct, corporation, so it defers to the county, so.
Maybe that's the way to go in order to put a bug in them to get off their ass and do something.
Well, look, this is our position as I see it. We went to the county, Joel and I went to a meeting, all the Heimuckety Mucks were there, Rod was there. And we were essentially told that this is our problem. The county attorney said it's our problem, the water district said it's our problem. Okay, so it's our problem. Now, we've been following up with our problem. And the county is saying, you can't do a quiet title action on this canal because it's a county roadway easement. So which is it? Do you want it to be our problem or do you want it to be your problem? They put us unknowingly into an untenable position.
Right.
So I don't see any other way than what Rod's advising.
Out of curiosity, where does the North Canal eventually drain out to?
Doesn't.
It deadheads,
It's a ditch.
it was originally supposed to go across Harry Hill Road, but it didn't, it deadheaded.
Okay, so I would suggest that we buy a big pump and pump the water out and put it onto Haverhill Road. And then let the county.
We can't do that, 'cause we don't own it.
We don't know, right,
You'd be
We don't have the rights to
trespassing.
Yeah, right.
right,
You're technically trespassing.
exactly.
Well, that's okay, we do it in the middle of the night.
Well,
How do you- don't say that, don't tell it.
So, that's what I would do.
My thought is to try to get 2 or 3 of the politicians in here with Greg Weiss, explain the scenario to them and give them 14 days to knock on somebody's door and say Century Village needs help. Cause on the 15th day, I will be calling the paper and I will be calling the TV stations, and we will have them come into Century Village and put all our cards on the table. All the work that was done, all the time that was spent over the last 2 years between WPRF and UCO and our attorney. They told us we could do this,
Yeah.
and now that we did it, now they're saying, no, you can't do it. Let them explain it to the TV.
And
Yes.
I would suggest the right way to do it is by letter, not just getting them, everything that you do in life, you should always leave a trail of
We have-
paperwork to
yeah.
protect yourself.
Yes,
So if you did one letter to all these people saying, this is the scenario, we have done all
Well,
this work for years.
that's what
but-
David is talking about. We now have, we have to reformat the letter.
Oh, I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes,
This may be a stupid question, but I think we just want it dredged. If we can't dredge it, because we can't own it, is there some other entity that's willing to dredge it?
well, they have to dredge it. It's their problem.
Who's they, the county or?
The county
Yeah,
and
okay.
the
That's what we've been contending
Yeah.
for 2
And they
years.
just won't-
and defunct companies
It's your problem, we don't want it,
and the water company, yeah.
Phone companies and
Okay.
boards,
When-
nobody wants to do it.
2 years ago, when they had that meeting, the water company was there, Weiss was there, and basically they said, it's your problem, it's not our problem. We never, they found paperwork that somewhere along the line, part of this was turned over to them. they forgot to process the paperwork. It's just, yeah, it's, you know, it's a loose end, it's something we forgot to do, so it's your problem. So they made it our problem, and now we bring it to them, and they say, no, you can't do this. So you made us waste our time, our effort. They don't have to know that we don't have legal fees involved, but we do have legal fees involved. Okay, so now it's time to put up or shut up. Very plain, very simple. And they're not to sue the government is like suing yourself. Okay, so the only thing that's gonna work for them is how quickly are they willing not to be embarrassed? And if you go to the paper and you go to the TV stations and you bring them in here and you show them the canal and you show them all the nonsense, the paperwork trail that we have, it is not going to be a good time for them. And we're talking about an election year.
And then just one more quick follow-up, so we're not doing it for aesthetics, we wanna prevent a major insurance claim.
Claim, we're talking about somebody getting
Right,
hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, so they're aware of that, and they just are saying it's still our problem?
Yeah,
Okay.
Alright, so.
well, no, now it's their problem and they're saying, they told us to fix it. But now that we know how to fix it, now they're saying, no, it's their property, so we can't fix it.
Can you go to
No.
It's under utilities.
Alright, so you have a recommendation from your attorney on the table, page 2 and 3. The question if possible is, do you and your officers want to instruct Rod to move forward with his recommendation?
Declare it a nuisance.
What was the recommendation?
Okay,
Proceed to sue?
I mean, I suppose we should all read the recommendation.
It's something, right?
Gary, you read it already.
One thought is that if Yuko simply declared the North Canal to be creating a nuisance into the village, then Yuko to abate this nuisance unilaterally performs some maintenance vegetation removal from the canal that does not require a permit. Yuko then demands the past owner, Century Utilities, to reimburse Yuko for this work. Of course, Century Utilities Inc. is long gone and never answers. Can Yuko then claim an equity loan on construction on the canal? A lien, I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay,
We don't.
Well, he's the lawyer, he's the one that's.
I understand that.
Let's just keep in mind that this is a lawyer who's been with us for
I-
48 years.
I understand that.
Specialty is drainage, he named his son Noah, for a reason. That's the question.
But my thought is, and this is, sorry to cut you
That's
off,
okay.
but my thought is. If we do that, and they've already told us that the property belongs to the county. So what's the sense?
Doesn't belong to the county.
They have an easement,
That doesn't,
Easement is not
easement's not ownership.
What is it?
This is a path to get to ownership.
Someplace.
You gotta spend the money first.
So Richard had his hand up first,
Yeah.
and then I have a quick question.
Just, my question is, if we do it and Central Utilities is defunct, we pay and we do not get reimbursed. As far as I see it.
then you put like a lien on it and,
You put a lien and
Well, they
the
even
lien
give
is
us
the
Never
way to
mind.
get the
Yes.
property.
We're getting into a lot of deep discussion when a motion on the table.
right,
And I recommend that the motion
Yes.
be
I need somebody to make the motion.
move
The motion.
Hold on.
forward with this recommendation or not.
Give me a second to prepare. I made it, a motion the motion is to follow Attorney Rod Tennison's advice on the North Canal,
I love that motion.
okay?
A second,
So, who made the motion?
I did.
Gary.
And who seconded it?
I second it.
Okay.
Now let the fireworks begin.
So my question is, if we follow his recommendation, is this to prevent the potential loss of life, or is this to determine better ownership?
Overriding over all of this is loss of life. I've been concerned about it for some time. I've already seen that that canal has given up so much of its capacity to absorb water that in really heavy storms, water is backing up the drains.
Yeah.
And those drains are clean and they.
So this
Where
will
you're
help
gonna see
that.
the flooding is not so much at the, in my opinion, I'm not an engineer. It's not gonna be so much at the canal itself, it's gonna be backed up into the back of Sheffield, Norwich, that's where you're gonna see the backups. It's gonna sneak up on us. That's just my observations of 10 years of watching that canal. So that overrides everything, it's safety. That's for sure.
Richard,
Yes, Richard?
Just in addition to perhaps not getting reimbursed, would our dredging set a precedent? So 5 or 10 years from now, oh, you drained it, you dredged it before, we want you to dredge it again.
Of course, once you touch it, once you put a shovel, you own it. That's why I don't wanna own it, that's why I was against doing what, but we had to follow our attorney, that's what you got attorneys for.
Right.
That's why I'm following the political end, and as you can see, they collide with each other, it's a matter of getting them to do something, and all it takes is one person to listen to what you got to say.
And for my part, I see a coherent plan here from an attorney. So what makes me feel better is there is a plan.
Right.
Wants to do something. Whether it's going to work for us or not.
Right,
I have no
exactly.
way to tell.
But by following this plan, I'm sorry, David, you.
Go ahead, you're first.
By following this plan, we are sort of planning to own it,
Yeah,
We only understand.
this, again,
you know?
you're,
It's you know, if everyone agrees that we wanna go ahead with ownership, otherwise. Then we have to go back to the drawing board.
what was the number of the tax certificates were originally?
that was the idea.
That was the idea, so that we could do work.
But we got stopped short.
I know that, but I'm saying.
No, but I'm just saying that we wanna continue to
I-
pursue ownership of it.
Again, we have, I agree, we should follow the attorney's advice,
Okay.
and I have my ideas, and we have the attorney's advice, and as long as, I'm not in conflict.
I don't think
In any way, I'm in no way in conflict with our attorney, and I agree, I would vote to proceed with the attorney. I just think that my thought was from the beginning that it was bad and it was not a good thing for us to own it, but for other reasons. I thought of pollution, chemicals, getting rid of contaminated dirt, after 50 years. And we are gonna find, I guarantee you, but I can't see the village being responsible for somebody else's neglect.
Yeah, but we don't want
Okay, and I think the only people that can help us, when we had Derek in here, he's talking about the Army Corps of Engineers, there is money available. The senator, congressman can get money to help us out. It's whether they want to or not, but at least we're trying every aspect. They can't, I mean, otherwise it would have been a dead end. They just said you can't do anything, it's a dead end. So, but we have an attorney that says we can try squeezing underneath the door, and I'm saying I'm willing to go on the other side. I'm gonna make a big stink. Yes, David?
First, it's just a comment, and I don't care what anybody thinks here. This is gonna cost us some money, and trying to get reimbursed is just not an issue.
Yeah.
Somehow, somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to spend money out of our pocket.
Exactly.
So worrying about collecting
No, I think we're aware
reimbursement
of
from
that.
this or that is just
Oh, yeah,
not worth it.
We're aware.
I
I think
I-
that's, yeah, that's my point.
I don't think
It's-
everybody.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, collecting anything from anybody is nothing. Getting somebody to do it or sharing the cost is something different.
But at some point, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But it's okay if they do it, they don't, we should do it. We
Yeah.
wanna do it, that's the bottom line.
At some point, Fausto's gonna have to go to the board of directors, delegate assembly, and say, we need to spend some money.
Yep.
He needs to be able to show that we've done everything possible. Before we say, let's spend $1 million.
Let David finish with his
I'm
thoughts.
sorry, David, go ahead.
That's all right, I'm used to it.
Sorry. Get you there.
The next item is that I'm very hesitant. I like the proposal, but how do we know what work we can do that doesn't require a Palm Beach County permit.
There is nothing that you can do,
I don't-
other than cutting the grass.
This is what he has as.
I understand that. Well, that's the point.
Maintenance, vegetation removal from the county that does not require a PVC permit. How do we know what does or doesn't?
Well, cutting the grass and planting a tree does not require a permit. Anything else, cleaning, dredging, needs a permit.
That's what I'm just saying. I said, how do we know what we can do, and what we can't do?
I think Rod needs to clarify that for us.
Yeah, okay.
Now, I could tell you that when North Lagoon was, or South Lagoon was dredged, it needed to be dredged, it was a clear life safety situation there, I'm the one that brought it to WKRF's attention. Eventually,
I
Dan
remember that.
went ahead and did it, he never applied for a permit, and, you know, it's never worked.
Yes.
And it got done. I don't think we're in the same position, we're close enough, our.
Right.
Because of the easement.
Well, there's an easement, there's separate ownerships, it's completely
It's
different.
bringing messes.
Yes. I mean, that dredging near the firehouse is not, nobody's gonna complain. The fire department is not gonna say, no, let us pay for dredging for you. Yeah, let's be realistic now.
David, I'll ask for that clarification,
Yes.
assuming that we go forward with this.
Are there any other questions?
Don't think so.
May, okay. The motion is to follow Rod Tennis's advice on the North Canal. Motion was made by Kelly Jensen, seconded by Joanne Robinson. David Boaz,
Yes.
Patricia Caputo,
Yes.
Dominic Garnaja,
Yeah.
Kelly Jensen,
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Joanne Robinson,
Yes.
Jerry Satowski.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What do they do with the material that they dredge out?
Trucked off. Some of it will be used to rebank the, because I've watched the Lakeport Drainage District do it. Some of it will be used on the new banks at the grade, some of it's taken on property.
Did you push it
Well, I
back
would-
across them?
Take
Yes.
what's left and put it on county property since they own it.
Well, they might use it as landfill sometimes.
The
Okay,
If it's city bill, they have a place for it.
all right, the vote is 8-0, the motion carries. All right, now. Carl said project, you're up.
Alright, guys, about 7 years ago, almost exactly 7 years. And a day, I was made aware of a long stretch of irrigation main line, 6-inch, on the golf course. Why did this happen? On property that doesn't belong to us, this is how it happened, 10 years prior to that. You signed an agreement with the water company to shut down most of the irrigation wells on the property. That brought an engineering problem, how to get water to sections of Century Village that aren't near a lake. Plymouth, Greenbrier, Gulf's Edge, Kingswood. My opinion, the right way to have done that is to either enlarge the capacity of the current pump systems, or put in another
Pump station.
pump station, and then size it to truck the water to where you need it to go. Well, the cheaper solution was to tap into our existing Century Village loop, all the main roads, which it was never designed for. So now you have a system that was only designed to do the main road loop, pressurized system, it's now irrigating all of Plymouth, all of Greenbrier, all of Gulf's Edge, Greenbrier. So when people say, why does our landscape look lush? Well, that's the reason. The thing is working at 150% of its capacity, and it has been for 20 years. That's problem number one. Problem number two is you had to run the water from the loop. That meant going past Greenbrier, Gulf's Edge. There were two solutions. One is to go around the back of the building. Problem there is that there's a lot of infrastructure there. There's 3 telecoms, or 2 at the time. Cable, telecom, potable water, sewer, any electric mains for all those buildings. So that's a tricky place to run an irrigation line. It would have to be hand dug, expensive. The other option was to go over the fronts of the Gulf Edge buildings, but that's all asphalted. So you're talking about digging up asphalt and redoing it. If you look at the first map. That's the, so the solution from the first map was, let's just put it on the golf course, nobody not. And since then, every time I get a leak on the irrigation main line, Seacrest guy has to hop the fence like the Viacom and make the run over. Clearly, our infrastructure needs to be on our property. Now, well, 7 years ago, the thought was, nothing's happening at the golf course, Green Bananas, which is way. Okay, well, 7 years has gone by, now the backhoes are on the property. So we're gonna have to reroute this long neighborhood. What about the pump? Pumps already in place. They're in the north and south end.
No, I mean, I know Trump, to take up what's, when I took a vote with you in Congress, right?
Yeah,
We talked about putting another pump station.
this is what I was explaining. We should have done that. We did.
Okay, but why can't we do it now?
It may come to that. It may come to that because
Explain this.
what I'm about to get to
Oh, I'm sorry.
is the project itself.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, I scratched these out in 2017. But basically, it's the same two actions, one of the buildings and back end buildings. I brought this to our irrigation contractors, Seacrest and Chadwick Irrigation. Chavez seems to think that Seacrest is best placed to get this job done. Spoke to Rivas is in charge. He wants to start, and you can see on the proposal, he wants to start locating the lines. Engineering. And we start the process with the county to install the valve and the main line. I gave them an ATE of $12,500. That's just to get the project started. Where it's gonna be after that, I do not know. The engineer is gonna tell us, put it out. I think we need to get this project started because, bulldozers are here, the bananas are now yellow. As an aside, I had that conversation with Joanne on this. Joanne seems to believe that any spending we do on this project would come out of the canal fund, being $750,000 that we need to put in. And I don't know if that's, but we would actually talk to Reflection Day and let them know what's going on. They need to know anyway, of course. So that's what I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in a proposal to start the exploratory work to relocate the main line behind Gulf Edge, Greenbrier and Kingswood. NTE is for $12,500. I'd like to get started on this as quickly as possible. Like that.
So Donald, if they hit one of those lines now, does that take out our ability to?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not so easy to put the lines back there because everything that's back there, the sewer and the electric.
What I'm hearing from Eric and Reed says it'll be a hand, if the decision is made to go around the back of the buildings, hand digging. There'll have to be locates to find where all that infrastructure is.
Got this, so let me ask you something, to put another pump,
Do me a favor first.
yes.
I hate discussion without a motion.
So I need them,
I can't, I'm sorry.
I need irrigation, the motion is irrigation program for Gulf Edge, Greenbrier, Kingswood, etc. Initial $12,500. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion. No.
Joanne?
I wanna know how much it's cost.
Say seconded for purposes of
So
discussion.
you can discuss it. All right, Patricia,
Second for purposes of discussion.
all right, now we can discuss it.
But question,
The question is, how much, I know it's expensive, but how much, and wouldn't that be a permanent solution to get another station, a pump station? That would take away from where the water is going now.
I'm really impressed that you were listening to me jabbering while we were in the car the other day. Thank you.
I listen to everyone, I just don't talk all the time about
Yes.
it, so.
We down the road, we'll come to a point where we'll say, do we want to finally take these sections off the main road? provide them with their own pump stations.
I can't hear it.
And we do it the way we were supposed to do it 20 years ago, you're absolutely right. How much?
Isn't that doubling what we're doing? We're spending, let's say we're spending 12,000.
Very possible, very possible.
500, right? And now we're gonna do these pump stations, so then why are we not looking into doing the pump station now?
We are. That'll be part of
Do
the.
you guys understand what I'm saying?
Can I raise a possible solution here?
Yeah,
Can we break this into two separate sort of combined projects? One being the relocation of the infrastructure
which is an
and
immediate.
charge it to the canal project,
Right.
but because I use the but for that, the Reflection Bay project, we would not relocate this at this moment, at this time. So that's one, take that money out of, so we're only
Yeah.
paying half the cost to relocate it, is
Right.
essentially how it works out.
Right.
And as a second item, the infrastructure should be looked at for improvement as a second part of it, and then, of course, our infrastructure reserves would be available to pay for an improvement to the known deficiency of the infrastructure.
So we can call this phase 1, phase 2, or phase.
two.
Yeah.
That's what I think, so, I don't know, but because the phase one part of it would include,
Yeah.
would have to include culture. Am I right?
100%, exactly, and the other part, not.
No, we then get to decide how to, or if and how we're going to improve the infrastructure that we're gonna relocate back over to our side.
And
But we wouldn't do any
treasure
of
on
this at
on
this
the audit
moment.
on the pumps.
Yeah.
Since that's gonna come later, you guys may decide you just wanna leave things be for a while. It's, it is working, it's just not
Yeah.
working well.
Fellow said there's a white truck parked in the guest spot by 204.
Well, do you wanna do the voting
security
on
right
the piece?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go over
I-
there.
Well, wait, we'll do the voting and.
Are you for moving ahead with the 12,500?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Good, goodbye. If I need you, I'll call you.
Okay.
Dr. H wants to say something.
Yes.
There's another question. If and when we put in a pump, would we, and we have not relocated, would we then have to relocate? Is relocating the first step
Yes.
necessary for a new pump?
Please
anyhow?
bring yourself and send Rover over to 204
Well, it's like-
Greenbrier Campbell.
No,
I'm sorry, not Greenbrier, Somerset Hilo. Thank you, I'll get back. No, we're gonna relocate this line no matter what,
Okay,
being that it's not our
and
problem.
then when the new, if and when we put in a new pump, it can use the relocated.
right,
It
well,
would,
yes,
it would use,
So
yes.
this is
right,
like, this is
right.
like the first step.
I can't imagine it would be any other way, Rich.
Okay.
that's why I added 12, phase 1, so to make it even, the
From
first
an
part
accounting
is.
point of view,
Right.
we get half of it paid for when you apply my but for scenario, but
Why don't
for
we ask
that
them to pay for the
project.
whole thing? Say, listen, the only reason we gotta relocate is because it's on your property.
No,
But
no.
we put the,
But
we put the problem.
we
But-
illegally put a thing.
They don't have to know that.
We both contributed to the fund.
Okay.
There's a $1.5 million account that's being used per the
Yeah,
agreement.
yeah, no, I-
This would be taken from that
Yeah.
fund,
Yeah, I'm not
meaning we've
disagreeing.
already paid for it.
Well, I do listen
Okay.
to Don when he takes me around, he
Yes,
takes
he
some
does.
time, but I do.
Okay,
I was also yammering a mile a minute on
What you want me to
two
do?
big cups of coffee, so.
But I hear you.
Okay. so
Alright, so.
do I need to is there any more discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay, do I need to reread the motion? The
I
only
think
thing I've
so.
added is phase 1, so everybody realizes this is gonna be coming to 2 phases.
Okay, go.
Okay, any objection to me making that alteration without rereading the whole thing?
Can you also add, phase one, of the reflection, just
I would
put
call
in
it exploration and design.
exploration and
Okay.
design, but I wanna make sure that we're wording it in such a way that that we know that it's gonna come out of the Reflection Bay account.
Yeah, but the second phase would have nothing to do with. it.
No, we're talking about phase
We're
1.
talking about phase
Okay.
one.
Question? Or?
This 12.5 comes out of the account,
Yeah,
the
okay,
1.5,
I got
yeah.
it, I got it.
Oh, yes, David.
I don't know if you can be that specific, Joanne, because they could say no.
Yeah, they must have.
Yeah, right. That's why I said. the
And would we then
I
not
just
do
think,
it?
I agree with, we should send them the bill or send them, but
No, we're
They-
in charge of the
they-
account.
yeah, but they can say, we're not gonna pay for that. Even though we're in charge of the account, they can say, this isn't part of what
Oh,
we
you're not
feel.
They're not, they may not agree to
They could
relocate
object to our
our,
use of those funds in this thing.
okay.
I got what you said.
But then
Let's
it's-
just go
but-
with,
but then
without the
the,
specific.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
just
then,
don't close
since
that
that is on their property and they're building on that property, they then would be responsible for the whole thing to pay for the.
They can just bust it up with the
No, no,
backhoe.
no, they don't have to.
Yeah, they can just rip it out, they're not responsible for anything.
Just the way you
Not
took the
there.
motion without going to phase one, just leave it at that. Because we're not gonna
Alright.
do it within a couple of months, right?
Alright,
Then when they
fair.
look into it and when money is better in the reserves, right? Then we could do
I run a water
phase.
line across your backyard in Mastic, and you're digging up a cremator garden, you can find that water line, you know what the hell it is, you didn't.
It's in the law,
It doesn't go to
it's-
your house.
It's a different scenario.
Get the sawzall and.
If that was originally on my property and my property was split, then I'd have a problem. The golf course and the Century Village at one point were all together. That line
Yeah, but
could have came in 20 years ago, 30 years, we don't know that.
I do know.
You know, you don't.
Alright.
Were you there?
If you say I don't,
Can we
but
move
no,
on, please?
Excuse me, were you there? Did you sign the invoice or sign the check?
no, but.
That was before your time.
Previous camp there, and it's in
It's okay.
Sea Drive.
It's okay.
Just-
Let them get a lawyer and explore it. All right,
Okay, so,
all right,
call the vote, please.
all right. So
Oh,
David
wait,
Bowie.
wait, excuse me, Maureen.
Oh, Maureen,
Can I
yes.
just ask a question and not a question,
Oh,
so it's. The North Canal runs where I live, all the way
Right.
from there to there. like
Yeah,
all the way.
yeah.
So on that,
But to have,
Wait,
so I'm just trying to get my perspective here, that's all.
Alright.
From all the way to past Hastings area, all the way.
Canterbury
Every way to Haverhill.
Canterbury K, all the way to Norwich F,
Okay,
Norwich L,
and then it goes around the bend by,
no bends.
No
bends.
It's a straight
no,
line.
it goes straight,
It-
Lincoln, where Lincoln.
It tees off
Here,
between Oxford and Sheffield. And then
Right.
and that lagoon goes into our main lakes.
okay, so what's behind me, North Canal?
that's
What's
the North
behind it
Canal,
is North
yeah.
Canal,
And that
correct.
goes all the way to just.
Haverhill,
No,
Haverhill.
going west.
Going west, it ends at the at Canterbury K. Ends.
Oh.
Where the pipe that's shooting water in the canal, that's where it ends.
That thing.
Right.
And the other side is a dead end, and matter of fact, if you go over there now,
Yes.
it's bone dry.
Okay, now, what about the waterway, the west, it says West Lagoon on by the turnpike, and that's
West.
a whole different area. and
That-
Yes,
stuff.
and there's no connection between the top end of west and the west end of north.
Okay,
Because in between, there's the water treatment plant.
Right, okay, why is that water there so,
Originally,
no, why is it now so green and algae looking?
are we talking about south or north or west?
The
West.
west waterway.
Cause there's no
By
movement.
Camden,
It's
The
not,
water-
yeah, it's not a lot of rush there, it's not a lot of water.
alright.
Pray for rain and you'll watch it move.
You can say,
Why did they dig those ditches? To keep this Florida swampland above sea level. That's how we built this place.
that's,
Are there any questions on the motion of the $12,500 for phase one to explore and design? Good, all right.
Okay,
So, David Bowie,
Yes.
Patricia Caputo,
yes,
Dominic Garnagia,
Here.
Kelly Jensen,
Yes.
Joanne Robinson.
Yes.
Everybody heard Stuart said yes. Jerry got off the phone. So, Jerry, you there? I thought I'm hanging up and I'm a yes. So we're gonna.
All right.
1, 2, 3,
Thank you,
4,
everyone. I
5,
was
6,
despairing of having something to pay attention to for the next 3 years.
7-0. Okay, motion passes.
most of this stuff. You should take me when I'm off the list.
All right.
It's okay, okay, is the meeting adjourned?
Do we have any North Canal Reflection Bay? We're okay? Good of the order.
what's this proposal that's here?
That's it. That's the proposal. The 12,000.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Nothing for the good of the order?
Nope.
Okay, any other new business that we did not touch?
No, so.
Thank you, everybody.
Meeting is adjourned.
Meeting is adjourned, yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, shut us off. Yes.
No.